We have Robin Cross with us, and he, of course, is with StoneX. He's located in Chicago. He gets us updated on, well, the things that are happening in our lumber market. And man, there's so much stuff going on here in the outside markets, the equity markets, housing news, and all that good stuff. Robin, if you could connect the dots for us, and how is this all related to the lumber trade this week here?
Most definitely. Good morning, Marlon, and thank you for having me. Connecting the dots is what I do, good buddy. So let's do prices first. So we got November lumber trading this morning at $507.50. That's up $3.50. January lumber, and they've been both pretty much equal in volume and activity. January lumber's been sitting at $519, up $4. So it's nice to see the market up a little bit, but sad part is, Marlon, the market's long-term and quite honestly lackluster two-sided trade continues. Literally since October 2022 to today, the market has been stuck on the low side around the 480s, as you know, and on the high side around 560s. There were a few exceptions throughout the year, though, for various reasons. Like when we took out the 480 low during May expiration, that was simply the case of the typical longs overstaying their welcome during expiration phase, and traders were forced to get out lower than they expected. And on the high side, the few times we actually rallied and took out the high through the 560s was due to some production curtailments by the mills. But that was short-lived as well. This has been the flattest market probably in my 27-year career that I've ever worked. And if that's not the case, it certainly feels that way. So what gives? I think the root causes of our current market conditions are due to a couple different prevailing factors. First of all was the launch of the new contract, still dealing with the woes of that. Even though it has been trading for over a year now, old school lumber traders still have not fully embraced the new truck contract, and that's obvious if you look at open interest. Coming into today, total open interest was 7,435 trucks, which on the surface seems high, but remember, the new contract is only one-fourth the size of the legacy. So in reality, the current open interest based on the previous contract is only around 1,850 carloads, and that is still well below the 2,500 carloads average that we would typically carry throughout, our entire legacy. The other root causes of our two-sided flat market is housing and high interest rates. They continue to impact underlying support and demand. The recent housing numbers are just as indifferent as the lumber futures. So let me just recap a couple of those so, in case the viewers missed them to kind of keep them up to date here. New home sales just came out a couple of days ago. That was down 8.7% at 675,000. Existing home sales, pretty flat there, down 0.7% at the 4 million rate with a 3.3 month supply. And lastly, housing starts and building permits. Starts came down pretty dismal, 11.3% down at 1.2 million rate. And permits were up, which gives you a little hope, I guess you could say. And that was up 6.9% at 1.5 million. So you could see there's no love for the market with those numbers as well. What lumber really needs, Marlon, it's starved for news. And I could literally make a case for the same sideways market to continue. You need a couple of different factors to really happen before we get any explosion or further decline in prices. I mean, it's really all mounted around interest rates. I think we'll have, there's a lot of pent-up demand in housing out there, so much. But at the current price levels, customers just can't afford it. And until we kind of correct the ship on that, I think the market's going to continue in this sideways, flat, two-sided pattern. You might get some end-of-the-year love or action, I should say, going into, like you typically would any other year. But outside of that, it's really tough to identify anything to jump on at this time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you pointing all that information out. That's great stuff, as always. And Robin, look forward to next week as well. Thanks for straightening out all the details about the housing market and everything. Very important stuff. That's Robin Cross of StoneX. He's located in Chicago. And when we come back, I'll run down the latest in our livestock trade right after this.